There they are, ladies and gentlemen, the stare down and a few words exchange.
Haven't seen.
You gonna see Saturday,
bro.
Saturday
even
night.
the little clips on the what is called that we just had, the gloves off. What the was you throwing?
Hey, you know what?
Davis's corner. So you have Coach Calvin, and Coach Calvin is the head trainer, and you have Coach Kenny, who really specializes on preparing game plans specifically for opponents.
Gervonta Davis stunned everyone by hitting Lamont Roach during a heated face-off. The confrontation quickly escalated as Davis openly stated he's going to break Roach in their upcoming fight. The energy was tense and explosive, with both fighters unwilling to back down. This intense moment has only added fuel to their feud and set the tone. For what could be one of the most aggressive and personal fights of the year. Gervonta Davis has entered a new zone of mental and physical dedication, led once again by trusted Coach Calvin Ford. He's sharpening his weapons with silent determination. This time, however, the relationships have changed. Unlike their previous preparation, where the Washington, D.C. contingent played a strong part, the current camp is more tight-knit and focused, with fewer outside influences and tighter information security. There's no chance of strategy leaks. The first fight was clouded by speculation and rumors that Roach was tipped off to Davis's tactics. That's no longer a problem. The camp has cut off distractions and put full energy into refinement, with Ford in his corner and eyes locked on redemption. Davis's preparation suggests a fight far bigger in scale and stakes than their initial meeting.
If you likes this, please subscribe, Fight File, and click the bell icon for more new boxing updates.
100% correct. Personally, I had Gervonta Davis up a round, because whenever you have rounds where nobody's doing anything, I'm not just going to do what most people do, and especially people that don't like Gervonta Davis, which is just give the round to the other guy, because Gervonta Davis didn't manage to knock him out that round. Okay, so this is Gary Russell Jr. clearly saying, man, no, I don't think Lamont Roach won that fight. You also had Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein, I'm telling you, is a very, very straight, fair guy who I don't know if he was on that call, but he used to work with Showtime. I don't know if he was on there. I don't recall if I heard him. I think it was Rolly Ronaldo that was calling it. But Al Bernstein, who was a very, very objective person, said, hey, look, no. Sorry to break it to you, but Gervonta Davis won that fight. Yeah, Lamont Roach put up a really good fight, but Lamont Roach was not dynamic. He did not do anything to really separate himself from Gervonta Davis. He just kept it equal. He just tried to keep it even the entire fight. And that's not enough, again, to take the belt from the champion. Now, I do want to say that the people that thought that Lamont Roach won, I don't have any problem with that. I really don't have a problem with it at all. I personally, again, had a point for Gervonta Davis, but I could see how those swing rounds really could go, depending on who's looking at it, really could go different ways, right?
The rematch between Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach has produced immense commercial success, reflected in the sale of 150,000 pay-per-view units well before fight night. This amount of anticipation of their rivalry and the public's craving for resolution. Fans remember how tense and unpredictable the first fight was and are eager to see whether Davis can regain control or if Roach will once again rise to the moment. The numbers match what analysts expected. This rematch is more than a sequel. It's a main event. Such figures also suggest that both fighters are not just boxers anymore, but central figures in the sport's ongoing narrative.
Tank out here selling under 150,000 pay-per-views, you kidding me? Oh man, Face of Boxing, yeah, turn that shit off. Yeah, we shutting that shit down. Every single time. Does Shakur really want to fight Tank? I think Shakur could sell a bit more with somebody else, especially in Saudi. I feel like they can find him a dancing partner that'll do a little bit better than 150,000. Okay, I get it. This is why PBC delayed this fight for what, 5 months? Y'all ain't want to pay this motherfucker because y'all know he can't sell. I mean, this should have been evident. If you do the math, Tank has never been that great of a pay-per-view draw. He sold over 300K twice now in his career. He sold over 300K with Ryan Garcia. That's obvious. Ryan's the bigger star. And then he sold over 300 with Martin. He sold about 325. But when we put it in perspective, that Frank Martin fight was a comeback fight after a year layoff, so it was always going to sell. Every comeback fight's going to sell. It was one of the first pay-per-views on Amazon's new PBC deal, so they were really trying to push it. And then he had David Benavidez as the co-main event with Gary Russell and Alberto Puello under them. You take away all those factors that this wasn't a comeback fight. David Benavidez isn't the co-main event, and Amazon has now been in the game for over a year. It makes sense it only sold 150. I know there's going to be a couple of you guys in the comments. No, it sold 500K. Don't be so gullible. They didn't sell 500K. I don't know if Tank's a top. Well, I know for a fact he's not a top 5 draw in the sport of boxing anymore. Well. He's not selling pay-per-views. Bivol better BF just triple him. Well, Jerry, their pay-per-views are cheaper. Don't matter. All that matters is who has more eyes watching him, and Bivol and better BF do. Tank does.
Rather than throwing away their original tactics, Davis's team has chosen a better route: adjustment over overhaul. Reviewing footage from the first fight showed that timing was off and mid-round confidence dipped. Now, with that information, the team has retooled specific elements like attack angles and spacing, focusing on closing the gaps that allowed Roach to find success. It's not about building a new fighter. It's about perfecting the one already in place. They've found where caution crept in and replaced it with calculated aggression. This revision makes Davis more dangerous as his base stays intact, but his delivery becomes crisper and more decisive.
Got a good chin. Oh, he got a good chin. If you got a good chin, okay, let's go ahead. Let's touch this. The chin ain't the only thing that can get you out of there. There's other things you can do and then go back to the chin. I won't go into details, but I look at shit different from a lot of people, man. You know what I'm saying? If you got a fighter that listens, he's gonna be a hell of a fighter if he listens to what I tell him. You know, all fighters don't listen because some missions you put them on, you gotta walk through hell to get it done, and every fighter is not willing to walk through hell. You know what I mean? But the chin is not the only thing to get a fight out of it, and the body's not the only thing to get a fight out of it. It's other shit too, you know. You gotta hurt. I believe in hurting them. You can hurt. You gotta hurt them to get it started, you know.
Petey, thank you for the $2. People were surprised by Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
What many viewed as a knockdown in their first bout may not have been a true reflection of Davis's vulnerability. Reports have emerged saying that the slip was caused by an external irritation, possibly from a grooming product that affected Davis's vision during the fight. If true, it changes the context greatly. It transforms what looked like a flaw in endurance or technique into an unfortunate and avoidable distraction. For fans, it reinforces their belief in Davis's skill and toughness. It also adds urgency to his team's preparation, making sure nothing as minor as product residue can derail performance in a high-stakes setting.
Everybody really think Tank go take the L. I've been seeing it. They said it's over. They think that this time Lamont go in more confident, knowing that basically he can, really take it to Tank. Yeah, I want him to go in there confident. He's very skilled. Go in there confident because you gonna go up against a different Tank. Like I told y'all in previous videos, he gonna go in there confident, thinking he could walk Tank down. Don't forget, with Tank, if he get you on that button, them lights going off. I don't care who you is. Remember how it ended up with Frank Martin? So yeah, don't go in there thinking that you going against like somebody that like Ryan Garcia is somebody that's gonna fold. You're going against Gervonta Tank Davis. And I think that confidence is what's gonna get Lamont dropped. Because one thing I will say, with Tank, that wasn't your best fight against Lamont, bro. I feel like you was in your head too much, you was overconfident, and you was really just, your mind was in y'all story, the lore and everything with y'all history. You ain't going there like, I'm fighting a stranger. You going there like, oh, this Lamont, this from the same camp, we from the same area. But now I think that whole situation woke him up, because you got to think, Tank not used to losing. He not used to people being against him. He not used to being the one that...
Former world champion Mikey Garcia weighed in with thoughtful advice about Davis's chances in the rematch while praising Davis's natural skill and adaptability. Garcia issued a caution, technical talent alone won't ensure victory. In his view, mental discipline will be the real test. The distractions outside the ring, public scrutiny, personal issues, and pressure must be shut out. Garcia thinks Davis has the tools to win, but only if his mind is aligned with his body. In short, the rematch won't just test technique but psychological resilience. It's a complete task, one that will demand unwavering focus.
I'll let you go because I know I got a lot of shit to do. Lamont Roach versus Gervonta, the rematch. It looks like it's gonna happen, hopefully. I'd like to see it.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometimes. I think he'll be more active and he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever, he gets a rematch, you know. And maybe they get a third fight, you know, after that. Who knows?
Maybe it turns to Marcus Pacquiao.
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, you know what, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or, you know, you never know. So, hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one.
After the first fight with Roach, social media buzzed with theories about Davis stepping away from the sport. But instead of retreating, Davis made a clear statement by jumping right back into camp. He didn't wait for storylines to form. He silenced them by choosing action over speculation. His choice to schedule a rematch so quickly revealed something essential about his character. He's not running from the past, but charging at it. This mindset has reshaped the plot. Davis isn't fading into uncertainty. He's rewriting his own ending with drive and purpose.
I want to know, when is the rematch going to happen at this point? Because I'm not going to lie, for it to be a whole month later and y'all still arguing over who actually won, it's just really like, okay, yeah, run it back, because we got to go ahead and settle this, squabble this up.
That's it for today's movie. Stay tuned until next.